Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 87. It's Iliya here, and as always I'm super glad to have you on my channel. And as you know, in this video we are gonna have a look at the markets, how it developed this week, what opportunities did we have, and what we can potentially expect for the upcoming week. So in 2 words, it was a pretty tough week. This one I actually spoke to a lot of Forex friends as well, and they actually said that it was one of the toughest weeks. Well, actually we had some pretty nice moves this week, especially with the euro flush. Then we had the explosion on the Aussies as well, and the GBP did not move too much, but again we had some moves, but the market did not provide clear entry opportunities for me personally, and especially for intraday traders it's a little bit tough, I would say. But of course we had the moves, so according to your strategy I really hope some of you managed to grab some of those nice moves. And of course I am finishing this week a little bit at loss, so to be precise minus 0.25%, because I really reduced my stop loss on a trade that I took on GJ. I'm gonna show you everything that I looked at this week, all the trades that I missed. And yeah, so as always, if you are new to this channel, it's all about trading. I share this weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and once per week I share an educational piece of content. So make sure you are subscribed, hit the notification bell in order not to miss the video, and make sure to check all of the educational playlists, because I have amazing videos there that are really gonna build a story of how I trade. And then during the weekly outlook you're gonna see the action live. All right, so if you already did, let's see what do we have for this week. Alright, as always, starting with the DXY to have a look how the dollar developed this week. And as you can see, we are overall pretty much in this beautiful downtrend on the dollar on the weekly time frame. First of all, I did expect this little level to get tapped right there around 92. The market created that push the previous week but really rejected. Then we have this strong bearish engulf to the downside. And what this week did is it actually started very bullish. You can see how the market strongly pushed to the upside, but then we created this nice rejection to the downside, and actually the candle closed bearish. All right, so what does this indicate from the weekly time frame is that we are having sellers in the market. So keeping that information in mind, then we drop to the daily. What we can see right there, again, this beautiful high was created, but then the market all of a sudden started to flush. It started to flush, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of consolidation. Then the market strongly pushed into the highs, but then as you can see, the last 2 days, Thursday and Friday, we had that withdrawal, and again we're tapping into this kind of a supportive level. So I'm gonna mark this one just like that, and then when I drop to the hourly time frame, you can actually see what that level is. So I actually quote that level in my previous outlook, I believe. So the market was tapping into it, but you can see how it kind of fails to push above. But then we tap deep into it, but you can see we didn't break it, and then we strongly impulse to the upside. And after this, I actually said to myself, all right, the dollar is going bullish. We had a break of structure right there. So I was looking for a pullback, and as you can see, I thought the higher low was right there. The market pushed down. Then potentially we can have a higher low again, but then the market strongly pushed into the downside again. And where are we currently? At the same level. All right, so as you can see right there, what brings attention to me is that strong bearish candle, that really strong bearish engulf that kind of induced a lot of sellers, and just after it the market really impulsed to the upside. So from this level there are a lot of orders that are entered. All right, and just seeing that push to the upside, that broke structure right now, I would still say that this could be a higher low formation, and I'm gonna monitor how the market is gonna find support in that area. All right, but if we have a strong break below and a close below this level right there and a potential pullback, then I'm gonna definitely change my bias to sales on the DXY. But again, let's say the market pushes down a little bit, creates a little bit of a support, but then breaks structure, pulls back, then potentially we can look for buys. All right, so currently this is not a confirmed lower high. Why is it not confirmed? Because it hasn't broken the structure, it hasn't made a lower low. All right, so currently actually our major lower high is this one. So as long as we stay below on it on the 4 hourly time frame, we're kind of trending bearish, but again from daily we're a little bit bullish, and we're just tapping into this very strong support. So again, the DXY, it's a little bit 50-50, and it's been like this for quite some weeks. It's pretty hard to actually set up bias. Therefore I always say, guys, make sure that you wait for Monday to open to show you the direction, then on Tuesday to wait for a little bit of momentum, and then we start striking from there. All right, so make sure you stay tuned for my Tuesday analysis on Telegram, and then we're gonna have a detailed look as well of how the dollar opens, and if we are gonna expect bullishness or bearishness for the remaining of the week. Let's have a look at euro dollar weekly time frame. So again, what we can see is a big indecision doji, long leg doji kind of. So what the market did is, I believe it first pushed to the upside. It gave a little bit of a fake. Then we had this strong melt to the downside. And then as you can see, the market recovered and closed exactly where it opened. So we actually had pretty much not a weekly movement on this pair. All right. So keep in mind, I keep calling this little area right there for a potential retest, which is around 1.19. So we can definitely still retest that area from a weekly time frame and then to potentially go for a new weekly high, right? But then dropping to the daily, let's analyze the daily. So first of all, we tapped into that area. We strongly kind of reacted from it. Then the market tried to break structure, but did it actually break it? Right? It didn't, because this is your lower high. And as you can see, what the market did is it just spiked above on, I believe this was actually Tuesday. And then we had this massive sell-off. And I was like, okay, we might be targeting the lows right now, but then the market on Thursday and Friday actually recovered all the way up. So just to inform you, I am working on a free course that is going to teach you market structure in details, all right? How I look at it, how I analyze it. So make sure you stay tuned, because I'm going to announce it either on my YouTube community or in one of my videos. So make sure you are, of course, subscribed and your notifications are on, right? Because it's going to be really exciting, this one. So back to the analysis. Again, you can see that the daily is currently tapping into that supportive level again. But if you remember from the previous time, what I always tell you is if you have an equal lower high, which is this one, always flip your attention for potential head and shoulders, okay? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Can we make a move to the upside and start pumping up? Absolutely. Absolutely, but first of all, I really need to see a close above this wick, because that wick created structure on the full hourly. And once we drop to the full hourly, let's analyze what happened this week. So again, the market opened where it opened, somewhere around there. And as you can see, kind of we had that bearish pressure, but that was from the previous week, I believe. Then we pushed into the highs, we kind of consolidate, and then we strongly break structure above. See, with that big wick. And then we started to strongly melt to the downside. And again, if I drop to the 15-minute, it was hard to catch a trade on that one. Because again, you can see the market just pushed up. And if you didn't take it from the high right there, based on some sort of a level on the left, then you just can't execute. Maybe even on the 1 minute, if you drop right there, could be an entry, but then it just flushed to the downside. And then it just created that big downtrend, right? But then what happened? The market found support from this area right there on the left and pushed all the way up. So right now, what I'm gonna say on euro. Again, I keep calling that 1.19 level. I definitely think we can reach this one. But again, we can reach around 1.22. 200s as well. Why? Because there is that level right there. This is a pretty strong as well kind of a supply area. Why is this a strong? Because have a look, this is a big push, a nice pullback, lower high formation, then we strongly created that downtrend and we haven't returned to that area. All right. So as you can see, the market has been pretty much right there creating that little downtrend right there, lower highs, but right now it's starting to seek liquidity from those places in order to reverse down. So right now, if I really zoom in, I am going to be monitoring how the market is going to react to those levels right there, right? Because after this fake out, the market returned exactly where it actually faked out. And right now it tries to push down. So what I'm going to wait for is to see how it's going to react to this newly created resistance, okay? And what I want to see is a failure to break above. So maybe we can push into the highs. Maybe we can even fake it. But then if we close below and if we break structure, if we pull back for the lower high formation, and then I'm going to be looking for shorts. Okay. And definitely if this structure gets broken right there on the top, we should turn bullish. Okay. And we should turn bearish on the dollar as well. So let's have a look how the DXY supports at that area that we just mentioned. And let's see how this one resists from that area. But potentially I would really need to see a structure shift. Okay, so right there on the hourly, we don't have it really. The market is perfectly trending to the upside. So what I want to see is maybe a little bit of a double top, a break of structure, retest, lower high formed, and then we can go to the downside. So this is what I'm calling on EU for now. But of course, let's wait for Monday to open and then we're going to have a look again. Let's have a quick look on EJ because the weekly candle is really interesting. As you can see, we have been consolidating right there, failing to break the highs for quite some time. And actually this candle broke the highs, but you can see the rejection coming from the top. 128 was tapped. And if I just go a little bit on the left, like you can see the market is tapping into some sort of strong support and resistance, supply and demand right there on the left. So is the market going to continue right now or is it going to reverse? We don't know, right? Then dropping to the daily time frame, again we had this compression of price, then we had this strong break above that induced a lot of sellers, right? Because you can see this channel, you have a break, you have a retest, and potentially you look for shorts, but again the market just filled that wick right there and continued to push to the upside. And then again, even if you take a loss right there, you should immediately identify the structure shift, because we had this lower high, pulled back, higher high. It broke that structure, it retested it, and since then it's been making higher highs. We strongly impulse to the upside. One day of a strong pullback right there, and then Thursday and Friday were pretty much, slow movers. But then dropping to the hourly, you can see that the week started from around here. I believe exactly from right there. And we started with a massive push to the upside. Then we had a little pullback, so potentially we can take longs from there. Then we had this new push, potential pullback, we can take a long from there as well. Then dropping to the hourly, you can see how the market is rejecting around those areas. And then on the 15-minute, if you look carefully, no entry was really provided, and I believe the timing was off on that one. As you can see, this is midnight for me. I'm not trading by that time. This is Asia, so this long was missed, and if I carefully look at it, there was not an opportunity that we personally would take with the team. And then right there, again, this was around New York session, but again, you can see London session started right there, consolidation. We strongly pushed above, very nice. Then we pulled back, so potentially we could have taken a trade from there, but I don't believe we traded EJ this week. And then the market pushed into the highs, made a higher high, and then all of a sudden you can see the market started to drop very, very strongly, right? We created this big push to the downside, then we found support, the market started failing to break below. You can see this big wick, double bottom formation right there, and then we started to change to the upside. Potentially we can take longs on the lower time frames, but the market got a little bit messy right there, so no trades were actually executed on EJ. But what I would expect, again, if I delete everything from the 4-hourly time frame, again, keep in mind that we're pretty much bullish on that one, and the daily is still bullish, the weekly is bullish. The 4-hourly though, again, you can see this most recent structure was broken right here. This one was broken as well, with this strong push to the downside. Again, this wick almost came where this actual move started right there, and we had that little retest. Okay, so we can have a little bit of a short on Euro JPY, but first of all we need to see something. And maybe if you drop to the hourly time frame, you can see that big wick on the 4H, right? This has to get filled at least 50%. So I would expect the market to come inside right there to create a lower high or a double tap, and then to push lower. So if I drop to the hourly time frame, you can see where the actual structure is. This one that was created, and potentially I'm going to be looking for a pullback around that area, and I want to see how the market is going to behave around this area. Is it going to break above, or is it going to start rejecting? And then if it starts rejecting, we can look for a potential short. Okay, so EJ, not the clearest structure yet, not really a sell bias, but again, we can definitely expect a little bit of a push to the downside. But keep in mind that the daily is trending strongly to the upside. From right there, we actually broke the structure, created a higher high, so this could be a higher low right there in order for the market to push up. All right, but shorter term, I would expect a little sell inside this areas, and then from there we can start re-evaluating for potential longs. Okay, so on EJ, short-term sales, and then from here potentially we can start looking for longs. All right, next on the list are the Aussies, and of course starting with AU, massive bullish engulfing candle right there on the weekly time frame. I tried many times to catch a long on this one this week, but the market did not permit me, right? And I'm gonna show you right now. So again, weekly time frame, beautiful hard high was created. So what we can expect for the upcoming week is either a continuation, maybe, or maybe the market is gonna start to pull back a little bit. It's gonna first pull back, and then maybe we can continue forward to the upside, but it's perfectly bullish. All right, so there is, if you look for shorts, then it's definitely gonna be a counter trend, or potentially you would like to grab that reversal. Okay, but again, as you can see, since Monday, the market kind of consolidated, little push up, then we pulled back, then indecision, then another indecision, and then the move actually happened on Friday. Okay, but I tried to catch that long for the whole week, and yeah, actually the market pushed lower, fulfilled those areas on the left, and actually gonna do the analysis on the hourly because it's pretty clear. Because right there you can see the higher low was created, the market created a higher high, pulled back almost for an equal, but just retested that area, massive higher high again. So this creates this as the new higher low area, and then the market tapped into it. And this is when I started to look for longs. Okay, the first long that I wanted to grab is actually this wick that was created. So I'm gonna just go to the replay, and I'm gonna show you the trade that I wanted to grab. So this is London session, this is your Asian consolidation, and then we had this strong spike to the downside, and this is where I wanted to enter longs. And then again, I used the lower time frame, so let me see where it actually is. Yeah, it's exactly this price action right there. So we had the fake during London. This is actually the manipulation graph. And then what I did is I waited for a break of structure, okay? Because this is my rules. I wait to see for the shift of the downtrend. Here it is. And then I actually set my order exactly right there. But then just minutes later, I realized that this area was already retested. But I set my order when the market was actually up there, okay? So I was like, okay, maybe I'm gonna move my order a little bit to the upside, something like this. But again, the market just created a little pullback and then it just exploded. So my initial plan was to enter from right there, of course, stop loss below, and I was planning not to ride it too much. I was just planning to ride it just above those levels right there, which was around the 1 to 4, I believe I was targeting. So maybe the stop loss was tighter, but yeah, this is what I wanted to see on AU. It actually happened, but I didn't get an entry. And again, a little bit later in the day, the market just plummeted to the downside again, deep into that area. And then as you can see, the market consolidated right there. Potential entry right there during New York. I didn't get it. Then I was looking again for an entry around these areas, but then all of a sudden, a New York session right there, strong pump into the lows. Again, strong manipulation into the lows. So can you take a trade from here? Absolutely yes. Again, but you have to drop to the lower time frames again and to spot like how the market shifts. It broke structure right there. So you should be looking for a retest around these areas and maybe to catch along from here. But this is already 6 o'clock for me and I'm not trading by that time. So yeah, AU, super tough pair. Super tough pair. And then all of a sudden on the Friday, the market just consolidated and all of a sudden it just started to pump to the upside all of a sudden. Like have a look at that beautiful uptrend, right? And again, I missed that long, but it is what it is. All right. So let's have a look what could happen for the upcoming week. So massive pressure to the upside. Definitely we would expect some pullback. So where the pullback can occur, definitely first area for retest will be this one because this was the broken area. It has to get retested. We have that big push to the upside. Potentially we can expect two things. We can expect a deep pullback that is going to create a counter trend on the hourly. And then we can potentially look for the long, or the market can just pull back for a little bit. So I'm going to be monitoring how the market is pulling back. If you pull back like this and if you really start to form a supportive level, like let's say a full hourly rejection right there, and the hourly time frame starts to create double bottom or triple bottom, it's really failing to break below, then potentially I'm going to even take it from here. But ideally, I would really love to see AU pull back a little bit deeper, maybe even to those areas that were broken, right? So if you start seeing change of structure on the hourly time frame, let's say a break below, retest, lower low, lower high, you can definitely take sells. Why? Because you know that the market will pull back in order to create a higher low. And this is how you actually flow with the market. You can take it you can take it with a trend, or we can take it counter trend. But if you know where the market is going to pull back, then it's perfectly fine. Personally, I think 78 has to get retested. As you can see, this level right there, and maybe even go deeper. So again, let's see how the market opens. Let's see if the hourly structure is gonna start breaking to the downside, and maybe we can take a little bit of a reversal. But ideally, I would love to see something like this. Okay, that's my plan. Next, AJ. So AJ, super tough. So no opportunities on this one. The market opened, straight push into the upside, and then what do we have? A whole week of consolidation, dropping to the hourly. This is the price action that you trade. So yeah, I don't know if any of you see any opportunities inside right there. I personally don't. Maybe if you drop to the 15 minutes, yeah, I don't see nothing even on the 15 minute. Like we have this uptrend, fine. The uptrend gets broken. You can look for the retest right there, but then it tops into support and then we get stopped at our break even. Yeah, absolutely no trades, and there is no need to actually force it. So again, what we can expect of this market is the same as AU. We would expect the market to revisit the structural area right there, and what this could do is it could create a little bit of a complex correction potentially to the downside, to tap into that area, to create support, to show us the bullishness, to retest, and then potentially we can target a higher high. If I have a look on the weekly, you can see super strong actually 3 weeks. So that is pretty nice. If I zoom out a little bit, yeah, nothing too much to be targeted on the left. We're just tapping into some sort of resistance levels right there. The daily time frame as well, as you can see, actually a super strong Friday candle. So definitely at the beginning of the week, I'm going to be looking for a little bit of a retracement on the Aussies, then potentially a higher low formed. Maybe this could happen around Wednesday, and then maybe again Thursday and Friday can take us into the highs. So this is the plan. Let's just stay patient and let's see how Monday opens for us. Let's analyze the NZDs as well. So NZUSD, again, as you can see, we started with a super strong move to the downside that created this big wick. And then again, all of a sudden, the market decided to explode to the upside, which made it pretty hard to actually catch the long. because the market shifted a little bit to the downside on the 4-hourly time frame, and I'm gonna show you. But then on the daily, have a look at all of that price action. So this has been since there. This is 37 days of consolidation right there. Again, keep in mind that we're trending to the upside. Okay, so your overall bias is up, but then seeing the market really failing to break above that area for quite some time, it really makes you to think that we might reverse to the downside, right? And then if I have a look on the 4-hourly time frame, again, this is the previous week's price action. We opened around right there. Yeah, exactly. 14th, we kind of consolidated. We faked above the highs. Okay, so yeah, have a look, all of those highs, they got faked right there. And then we had this strong push below that actually broke this structure right there. And I was thinking, okay, then we should start looking for sells, right? And then again, I was trying to catch a sell from here. No, this is not. Yeah, this is Asian session. Then on the next day, I was actually thinking that the market might go down. It tried to push down, failed. Okay, then we again started to consolidate. And then I was okay, maybe we're going to retest this structured area right there where the actual move started. But then all of a sudden, the market just decided to blew through it. Like it just blew through it, and we made that big push into the highs, right? So potentially right there, you could have looked for sells, and I didn't take any on the NZD. Again, I was actually looking for a long inside those areas, and it was, yeah, the long was, where was it? It was this one right there. There was something on the left that was actually retested, or was it this one right there? I don't remember actually, but it was the same setup as AU that I showed. It was exactly the same setup. I was looking on the lower time frames, but I just didn't get that retest. So was it this one? Was it this one? Or was it this one? I don't remember, but I didn't get the retest, and then the market just continued to push to the upside. But again, on NU, no trades for me this week. And what do we have? A massive push into the highs. Again, what is our next step? Of course, push phase. High was created. What do we have to wait for? We have to wait for higher low. Where can the higher low be created? We don't know. We can just expect potentially this structure to be retested, right? Or maybe at least this one. If this one doesn't hold, then potentially I'm going to be looking for that one. What does that mean? Again, is that we might have a little bit of a counter trend. Okay, we can have something like this. Then the market can tap inside that area, can show us the buyers, can retest, and then potentially we can start turning into a bull trend. Okay, so this is what I can expect, guys. Potentially we can have Monday and Tuesday pull back to the downside, then Wednesday accumulation at the bottom, and then Thursday and Friday maybe impulse to the upside. Okay, so on the hourly time frame, this is gonna look like a nice downtrend, something like this, a nice downtrend. Then again, you can see right there we have around Wednesday and Thursday starting to change the direction, and then we have this impulse to the upside. So maybe something like that can happen this week. But again, two levels to monitor. First one is right here. Can you take longs from it? Yes, you can if you get a confirmation, but make sure you are aggressive with your break even, because again, the market can decide to further pull back to revisit some of those lower areas. And then from there, I'm gonna start focusing on longs. Okay, that's the plan on NU. And then just have a look at NJ as well. On the weekly time frame, extremely bullish, very bullish candle, right? After this indecision previous week, massive bullish candle to the upside. On the daily time frame, again, overall we started with a super strong impulsive move to the upside. Again, Monday and Tuesday super bullish, Wednesday pullback, Thursday a little bit of a kind of the higher low creation, right? That actually retested the daily structure, and then on Friday we just exploded to the upside. Then dropping to the 4-hourly time frame. Again, I was looking at that wick right there. Again, as you can see, kind of the broken structure is right here. Again, you can see that kind of a lower high, that little bearish candle that actually created a lower high, big gap to the downside, massive impulsive leg, and this structure was retested. Okay, it was tapped, and then you can see the market never came back down. And what I always tell you guys about those wicks is that those wicks actually tend to get filled. And I was looking for the market to actually revisit those areas, and you can see tried right there, tried right there, tried right here, but it failed, right? But if you drop to the 15-minute time frame, you can always spot that break of a trend, maybe a push, a retest, some of those areas. But again, I couldn't spot any trades on NZD/JPY, so pretty tough that at the end it actually pushed into the highs. But again, similar to NU, what is our next move? Here is the structure. Actually, that was broken. The move starts from right there. This structure is broken as well, but definitely this pretty much looks like it's gonna retest this one because it's really close, right? So we can expect a little move to the downside, support created, strong break above, retest, and then we can potentially continue into the highs. So bullish bias both on the Aussies and on the NZDs. Let's have a look at a little bit of a pullback, maybe on Monday and Tuesday, and then we are gonna start taking it long. Okay, so again, make sure to stay tuned for the Tuesday analysis. All right, it's time to look at some USD, starting from UJ, a pretty tough pair for me again this week. My entry was missed by 0.4 pips, and it was a beautiful 8 R&R trade, so I'm going to show you right now. So again, as you can see, this market broke the structure on the weekly time frame for 2 weeks straight. It broke above the EMA and actually retested the EMA to perfection. All right, and this week it tried to push up, but it actually failed, and it failed to close above the wicks of the previous candles. That indicates that a lot of sellers are coming from that area, so let's take that in mind. Okay, daily time frame, absolutely bullish. Massive push to the upside, pullback right there, massive high, potentially pullback. So yeah, a lot of areas to be revisited, to be honest. Those areas haven't been retested, and right now we have a new area right there. We have a new higher low from the daily time frame, so definitely this can provide us with a bigger pullback in order for the market to take off again. And keeping in mind that we have a higher high created, so this confirms this to be a higher low. So definitely, as long as the market stays above it, we can look for longs. But let me show you what I actually took this week. So I tried to take a short. It was from these areas right there. Why? Because first of all, I actually thought that UJ might give us a little bit of a deep push to the downside, because you can see from here the market changed the structure and created this massive push to the downside and actually marked that level right there, and the market tapped into it. If I go on the hourly time frame, you can see how strong the market moved from that area. So once the market tapped inside and it was London session, I was like, okay, we are gonna have a move to the downside. And again, I wanted to grab that move to the downside, and let me just show you how I entered as well. Let me just remove that stuff right here. So going to the 15-minute, you can see this is the tap right there into that area, and then we had that strong reaction to the downside. And by reading price action, you can see that a lot of orders were entered from there. Huge bearish engulfing candle, and I was like, okay, then where is my broken structure? It was exactly right there. And I was looking for a short entry right there, but I wasn't entirely confident just to take a short like this on the 15-minute and just place my stop loss above like there and target the lows. Okay, what I did is actually drop to the 5-minute, or even to the, I actually took the entry on the 3-minute. So let me show you actually on the 3-minute. Yeah, so again, you can see the market taps liquidity again above the highs, taps into a strong supply and demand candle, and then again we broke structure to the downside. Okay, so what I did, what my mistake was, is I was a little bit too like tight with my entry. So I really wanted to take it from here. So this was my entry right there, and my entry was set exactly right here. Actually, I allowed a little bit because for spread, not exactly on the zone, but I allowed a little bit for spread, and then my stop loss was much tighter than it should have been on the 15-minute. I believe I actually placed it above the structure, so it was a 3.3 pip stop loss, something like this. And then I just planned to ride it actually into those lows right there. Nothing pretty much. Let me actually show you. It was something on the 5-minute. Yeah, it was actually that extreme right there. No, it wasn't this one. This one, I don't remember actually what I was targeting, but I believe it was an 8 R&R trade. So maybe it was this sort of structure that I was targeting. And again, as you can see, this was the trade that I tried to take. And the whole story was built from a 4-hourly potential pullback. Right there, again, the market tapped into resistance, showed me the reaction on the hourly time frame. We actually had the reaction here as well. And yeah, I'm not sure what I was targeting. My chart looked different because I use FXCM, a 1-day slide a bit different. On the 15-minute, we have a clear indication that the market is reversing, a clear retest of structure. And all I wanted to do is take a tighter entry, because this is what I currently do right now. And as you can see, my market was missed by 0.4 pipettes, right? So this was my trade actually for this week that I really regretted not getting in. But then again, at the end of the day, the market strongly reversed to the upside and it created a nice push up. And then we started to withdraw to the downside, but from that moment on, the market became really tough to be traded. So again, like we started changing to the downside, we broke that structure, so we can start looking for sales until the market comes to revisit those areas right there. Actually, at the end of the day, it revisited them. It tried to push up, it failed again, so it became really tricky around that area. So I wasn't looking for trades no more on UJ. But let's see what could happen right now. So as you can see, the market is pretty much bullish right now. So is this going to be the daily higher low? We don't know. But on the 4-hourly time frame, do we have any sort of pressure? Well, we have some sort of indication. Those rejections, the market tries to push up, fails, tries to push up, fails. So there is not enough volume for the market to push up. And then on the hourly time frame, we haven't broken the major structure, which is right there. Okay, so not entirely in the reversal phase right now. On the 15-minute, we could have that break of structure, but again, what I would need to see is potentially the market to revisit those areas right there, to form the support again, and then to potentially strongly impulse to break off structure on the left, and then to potentially create a sequence of higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so I'm going to be looking for the market to tap again right there, to find the support, to break the structure, to break this overall structure, this one and this one, to close above, and then I'm potentially going to be looking for a higher low formation, and then potentially I'm going to take it to the upside. And if the market starts to flush down, then we're going to reevaluate and try to look for something else. Okay, so that is UJ, overall bullish bias, but first of all, want to see a clear confirmation that the market wants to go up and potentially a break of structure, at least on the hourly time frame. Let's have a look at USD CAD. Again, super tough pair. So although we have this beautiful engulfing candle like to the downside, nice bearish week, the overall week was consolidative. And again, as you can see, like that move was formed, a combination between Thursday and Friday, right? So we started with that strong bearish push to the downside, and the market pulled back and consolidated right there for 2 days. And as you can see, if I drop to the 40 time frame, this was the overall price action that we worked with this week, because this is Monday, this is Tuesday, and then this is Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We actually had that move to the downside exactly on Friday London session. Okay, so we had that strong push to the downside on UCAD that makes this the potential lower high formation. The market pulls back, creates that big wick. So basically, we should be looking for shorts for that market. But then dropping to the hourly time frame, it's a little bit tough for me personally. We have that fake above, consolidation, kind of a little bit of a break of structure, then another fake above, then the market fails to break structure, then another strong push into the highs, and then all of a sudden the market decided to drop. Okay, so I hope that you managed to catch that drop to the downside. Personally, for me, I did not see any trades on UCAD. Anything, it was just a whole week right there of consolidation. It was, first of all, it started with a move up, big consolidation, and then we ended up with a big move to the downside. Okay, so nothing pretty much for me personally to comment on. But again, what I could expect, again, did that actually close below? Well, yeah, it actually closed below, so we have a confirmed lower low. So definitely this market is bearish, and potentially similar to the other pairs. What is our next move once a lower low is created? Of course, to wait for a pullback. So what I will be waiting for is for the market to potentially pull back around this area to form a lower high, and then potentially we can start looking for shorts. Okay, so keep in mind that the market can definitely create a bigger pullback, or it can create just a little bit, right? So for example, this can already be your lower high in order for the market to push down. But again, you have to have your rules around the entry. So for example, if you see a short entry right there, of course you can enter, but always keep in mind where the money is actually lying. Okay, where are the orders gonna be entered? And personally, it's usually around retests of such zones. Okay, so sometimes you're gonna have something like this, again, a push to the downside, slight pullback, and then a continuation. But most of the times, the biggest orders are gonna be entered around structural areas like that. So again, for the highest probability trade, I'm gonna be looking for this area to be revisited, and then potentially I'm gonna take the short. So let's see how this is gonna develop this week. USD Swiss franc is a pair that I haven't touched for months, right? I actually removed this from my watch list, but let's see what do we have. So the market showed a little bit of bullish pressure right there. Then we had that pullback to potentially retest this kind of weekly broken structure right there. As you can see, it was revisited. And this week we have kind of, a combination between a rejection candle and a bullish candle, but it actually didn't break anything. It didn't break the body, didn't break the wick of the previous candle. So actually the buyers were not entirely in control. Then dropping to the daily time frame, we have this beautiful push to the upside. Then we have this nice pullback. So potentially this could right here be a higher low on the daily time frame. Okay, but in order to confirm it as a higher low, we have to make a higher high. We have to break this structure. Okay, then dropping to the 4-hourly time frame, let's see what do we have. So the market showed us some bullishness right there, but it was not ready to push up, and then we had that nice fake below. So this fake below actually triggered everyone that was already long. It triggered the sell stops that were lying below this area to potentially take the market down, and then we just had this strong impulse to the upside. Okay, but this is actually it. We started from right there, from the 14th Monday. This is the Monday's price action taking us into Tuesday. Then Wednesday started to pump up, and then again Thursday and Friday we had that little pullback right there. So nothing pretty much on USD franc. If you couldn't get that long right there, there is nothing else to trade. Okay, so let's see what could happen right now. So potentially look at where the move originated. It originates from right there. The market pushed into the lows and then a huge impulsive move to the upside. So usually the market tends to retest those supply and demand areas, and we have 0.89 right there as a key area of confluence, and this is 60 pips to the downside. So potentially if the market does not form a higher low right there, to potentially move to the upside and even break the high on the daily, because currently from the 4-hourly time frame we actually broke this structure high. So this is first signs of the market turning bullish. Okay, remember how we build a story. It's pretty important that you learn how to work between the different time frames. So this is a potential higher low on the daily, but it's not confirmed because we haven't broken the higher high. Then on the 4-hourly we have this high that was actually broken, so this confirms this to be the higher low. So we're starting to shift. Okay, so right now two situations on USD strength. It can push into the lows right there, find support and pump into the highs, or it can actually break this one, retest, take a short from here, tap into the really where the demand is, and then from there look for a change of structure, and then we can take it from that to the upside. Okay, so this is my plan on USD strength. Let's see how the hourly as well is gonna revisit those areas. Is it gonna find support or is it gonna start breaking? And if it starts breaking, then potentially I'm gonna be looking for those lows right there where the real move started. Okay, because those areas haven't been retested yet, so it can create a little bit of a downtrend. Maybe Monday and Tuesday can be a little bit of a downtrend on the hourly. Tap us into 0.89, and then from there we can look for the longs. Right, so this is my plan on USD strength. Overall long bias, we just have to wait for that confirmed higher low formation and then take it from there. All right, it's time to look at the GBPs. Massive bullish pressure right there, and as you can see I called 1.40 to get tapped. It got fulfilled, and actually right now we are going potentially for 1.41, and maybe even we're gonna visit 1.42. All right, so this right there is a super strong level because from here the market faked above. Have a look at that little consolidation. This is the final catch of liquidity, the final liquidity grab. And since then, the market has been in a massive uptrend. So currently the market is getting into a very special zone right there on the weekly time frame from where we can start looking for potential reversals. Okay, but keep in mind that the market can go even higher right there on the daily. So definitely before taking a short, we have to see a clear structure change. Okay. And if you have a look on GU, the market has been breaking structure, has been retesting structure, breaking structure, retesting structure, breaking again, retesting again, and just continuing to trade to the upside. But let's focus on what happened this week. So the market opened right there with a strong move into the highs. Then we have 2 days of a pullback. Then Thursday, massive explosion. And then Friday, just a continuation. Dropping to the 40 time frame. So again, I was expecting a little bit of a deeper pullback around those areas right there where the actual move originated, because GU works amazingly with such areas, but it just pulled back right there and it started showing us that it's forming a higher low again. Again on the hourly time frame, so there was a potential short from right there. So again, you can see if you expect the market to pull back around those areas, and then if you see the hourly time frame shift, which was right there because the market created a push, a pullback. This is your higher low formation, right? But then the market failed to make a new higher high and continue, but it actually broke to the downside and created a lower low. So again, from the 15-minute, we had actually members to taking a short from right there as a manipulation trade, and then we actually continued to the downside, which turned out to be a pretty nice trade. And then from here, we were actually monitoring for longs, but have a look at the price action, like a little bit messy right there. Then we created this downtrend right there, which was really nice. Then usually we would wait for a break and a potential retest, but what the market did, actually this is Frankfurt open, it's not even London open, it just decided to explode to the upside without any other signs, right? So this is actually what we worked with the most week. Like there were some shorts in between right there, but they were rather aggressive, right? So again, you have that push to the downside, that broke structure, then you have that little fake above. Again, you can see at 10 o'clock, this is not even London open, so we can potentially take it as a retest of the most recent lower high right there, potentially short right there. So yeah, pretty much aggressive entries. And then the actual trade with the overall direction didn't provide an entry, so pretty pissed about this one. Okay, pretty pissed. I did not trade GU, I took a little loss on GJ, which I'm gonna show you right now. But what we could expect on GU. So keep in mind that this level hasn't been revisited, and right now this level hasn't been revisited again, but we have a new one created, which is exactly right there. So again, on GU, it looks a little bit extended. And we are tapping into those very strong supply and demand areas. So personally, I'm going to be looking for Monday to retest into that area to find support, and potentially this is going to be my plan. Pullback, higher low formation, and a new higher high. If you drop to the hourly time frame, again, you can see we can look for a retest around those structure right there. And if it really finds support, then I'm gonna take it to the upside. But let's say for the other hand, if we have something like this, because you always have to follow structure. If you have something like that, maybe it's gonna support, but it's gonna fail to make a higher high, and then it's gonna break below. Okay, then on the next day, I'm gonna be looking for the pullback, lower high formation, and then I'm gonna take it into the lows, into those levels. And from there, I can start looking for longs again. So those are the two situations that I'm gonna be looking on GU. The first one is gonna be a pullback into this one, support. I can take a long, but I'm gonna be aggressive with my management because maybe it might not create a higher high, right? But then it might create that bigger pullback on the 4-hourly time frame and a bigger pullback on the daily, okay? Because the daily, actually the structure that was broken on the daily is right there, and we can definitely revisit those areas on the daily, okay? But even on the 4-hourly, you have those lower ones. Okay, so hope that makes sense. And on GU, overall bullish, waiting for that structure first, then for potential longs. If it fails to break below, pull back, shorts into the lows right there. That's the plan. So let's see how Monday opens. Then let's have a look at GJ. Right, so I tried to take a trade from these areas right there. Why? Because the market pushed up, created a higher high, higher low, higher high. So I was looking for a revisit of those areas to potentially grab more liquidity and to make this move to the upside. Okay. Then dropping to the hourly time frame, I should actually drop to the 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna have a hard time to spot that opportunity right now. So it was actually before the real move to the upside started. So let me see, was it this one? Let me just try to find it. I believe it was. Okay, so here it is. So after the market tapped inside this area that I just marked from the 4-hourly time frame, I actually had this one, this extreme level right there that actually got tapped as well. And I saw that beautiful reaction. And again, if I give you a little bit more of a story about this one, have a look how the market consolidated right there for quite some time. It first of all grabbed liquidity to the upside, and then it created that strong move to the downside, but I was overall looking for longs. Okay, then I saw this big rejection right there and this little bit push to the upside. But to be extremely honest with you, I went a little bit FOMO on that one because this day I missed two opportunities on AU and NU, and I was trying to get a trade because I was sitting like overall break even for the week and I just wanted to take a trade. And this was on Thursday, right? So what I did, the market strongly pushed to the downside, created this lower high, then it pulled back and actually created a higher low and pushed into the highs and broke that structure. So I was like, okay, I want to take a trade on that one. And what I actually did is I even went on the 1 minute and I was looking for an extreme retest. So I took it from the bottom right there. I took it from this wick. This is our current strategy with sniper entries as well. So this chart on Wanda is a little bit different. I have it on FXCM and it looks a little bit different. There is a little bit of a structure right there, but I took it like this. And my stop loss was below right there. And I was targeting the highs right there for potentially the market to take out the highs right there. And this would have been a nice trade. So what I did is I immediately understood that I went a little bit aggressive on that one because everything was pointing down and this 15-minute wick like wasn't enough for me. And what I did is when I was on the 1 minute monitoring the market because I was pretty stressed on that one. I don't know why, but I started seeing that push of structure, pullback, push of structure. So what I did is I really reduced my stop loss. I did something like this and I was like, okay, so if the market really decides to reverse right now, I don't want to be in the trade no more because the market took out everything that was right there. And if it actually stops me out, I want to be out. And then actually it resulted in a 0.2% loss or something like this. And what happened later? The market pushed deep into that zone, okay? And this is when I should actually started to look for entries because right there, this was too premature. We just had one candle with rejection, but then the market went deep and started rejecting again. And then again, if I do the same, if I drop to the 3-minute time frame again, you have the market failing to break structure. Oops, not this one. You have that little shift, okay? You have the actual break of structure. And from there, I think there was actually a little bit of an entry provided somewhere. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe this break and a retest, but I got stopped out on this move to the downside and then I didn't look for a re-entry because I was getting a little bit emotional and I didn't try to get into that long, which actually turned to be a beautiful long later, this big move to the upside, but I got stopped out prematurely, which was a very little loss for this week. But again, let's have a look what we could expect similar to GU. So again, where this move initiated, it started from right there. So this is our extreme, this is our demand area, but we have a structure right there as well. So two things the market can do is it can pull back into this area, create a higher low and pump into the highs. If this area doesn't hold, we can have a break, we can have a retest. I'm gonna take a short into this area, and then from there I'm gonna try to take it into the highs just because everything is pointing to the upside. All right, maybe if I look on the weekly, is there something on the left? Oops. Yeah, nothing too much on the left, right? So as long as the market remains bullish on the 4-hourly time frame, I'm gonna take it to the upside, and then if we really start showing a downtrend, then we should reverse our bias. But this is what I'm gonna be looking for right now. Pullback right there, potential long. If we break, I'm gonna look for last resort right there for long, and if this one gets broken, then we're gonna start targeting all of those lows and taking some beautiful shorts as well. GA, I am not loving this pair right now. Again, you can see, let me just go to the daily. Yeah, we kind of broke structure to the upside, and this is what we have right now. So again, this is the most recent broken structure that the market impulsed from. It hasn't tapped inside it yet. On the 4-hourly time frame, we had this big consolidation right there. Again, you can see the market taps, tries to push, taps again, tries to push, almost pushes, taps again, strong push above. We finally think buyers are coming in, and then we have this strong move to the downside again. So pretty much you're working with this right now on GA. We are working within a consolidation. So is this a high probability structure? Not really, right? So yeah, potentially what I can expect on this one, because we're looking for longs on all the GBPs, it can push into the lows. If it finds support, then maybe we're gonna have a reversal, but I'm not gonna have a look at it like this. Potentially if it taps inside, I wanna see a consolidation, I wanna see a break above, retest, confirm high, and then from there I can start looking for longs, okay? Because currently, if I delete everything, what is the most recent structure doing? It made a high, and right now it actually broke the low. So this is a lower low, so what we should be doing is we should wait for a pullback, lower high formation, and then a potential continuation. But keeping in mind that the market is overall to the upside right now, it can definitely tap inside some of those areas right there. Have a look at that cluster of price. So we can tap inside, and maybe from there we can have a little bit of a reversal. But on GA, overall consolidation, so until I see something clear, I'm not gonna be focusing too much on this one. And then Euro GBP, it just keeps moving to the downside, this one. Massive engulfing candle to the downside, similar to GU. Potential areas for a revisit will be this one. First target, 0.85. So definitely looking at the market, how it starts to move down. And as you can see, we actually had 5 straight days of the market pumping to the downside, right? So potentially, as we expect bullishness on GU, this one should be, no, as we expect bullishness, this one should be down, but then definitely this one should pull back to the upside, which is gonna bring GU down a little bit, okay? So definitely you can see we are creating beautiful structure to the downside, but from the daily time frame, it gets a little bit slow and it gets a little bit low. So definitely I want to expect a little bit of a pullback on the daily time frame to potentially revisit some of those areas, which means that we might change structure a little bit on the 4-hourly time frame. So where is our most recent lower high? It's exactly right there. What is the market doing right now? It's failing to break below the structure. So potentially if we have something like this, then we can take a long inside that area, and then from there we can start monitoring for another break of structure to potentially take it to the downside, okay? So Euro GBP, short-term longs potentially, which means that for come on man, why this keeps trigger? Which means that for the GBPs, we can have short-term shorts, okay? Maybe into those areas, and then we can take it from there. Again, make sure that you monitor the correlation between Euro GBP and GU, because they're oppositely correlated, and usually it works pretty nice to know where Euro GBP is traveling, which will give you insights for GU, all right? So this is the GBPs. Again, pretty tough markets. We really don't know what to expect. So as always, make sure for Monday to open, and then from there, we are gonna reanalyze and start striking. Let's have a very quick look on gold, because we're running out way too much in time. So this one actually is a bearish week, right? There, still tapping into those levels. So again, I would expect really 1750 to get tapped, but as you can see from the daily time frame, this was actually a lower high. We had a break below, we had a pullback, lower high formation, and right now we're down inside this demand area, which doesn't seem to hold too much. So right now gold, this is a lower low. We can definitely expect the market to pull back to create a lower high on the daily, and then to potentially continue for maybe one more, okay? What does that mean in terms of a 4-hourly time frame? Then that we can have potentially a little bit of a reversal, okay? And some areas to look on the 4-hourly will be this one. this overall structure right there. So potentially you can have a little bit of a move to the upside. If it taps right there, it's going to create a lower high, and then potentially we're going to move into 1750, and then from there maybe we can take it to the upside. Okay, so long is bearish. So far, we can expect shorter term buys, maybe on Monday and Tuesday. And then again, I would expect a move to the downside because we are overall moving to the upside. And then from there, from 1750, we should start to reanalyze again. Indecisive week for the indices overall. As you can see, US30 is currently consolidating at the top, and I get a feeling that a little crash is coming because the optimism is way too much across the markets. Stocks are doing too good actually, and yeah, but as we can see from the daily time frame, the market is currently consolidating right there, so it definitely needs some sort of a liquidity grab. So again, this higher low was created from right there, so definitely we can have a little bit of a spike to the downside, and then from there we can maybe make the move. So this is how I'm going to be looking at US30, maybe a little bit of a downtrend at first, and then potentially we can start move into the highs. As you can see, Nasdaq, it was more bullish than bearish, but again, as you can see on the weekly time frame, we are having a bearish candle, so the last days are actually a little bit of a withdrawal, although we are moving into the highs. So same story right there, the market can revisit those areas, potentially create a little bit more of a downtrend, and then maybe from there we can have some sort of a reaction. And S&P as well, overall consolidating right there at the top. Same level right there, we had that little dip right here to catch some liquidity. We impulse to the upside, but right now it kind of seems like it's running out of steam and it needs to gather some more liquidity. So definitely I would expect the market to make a little bit of a downtrend. Shorter term, maybe just on the hourly, tap inside those areas, and then from there take it to the upside. Okay, and make sure that you actually follow how those companies are doing, because we're having some sort of a pullbacks on most companies. I actually put some money into stocks just this week because we had some pretty nice corrections, actually around 10% corrections on the stocks. So it's pretty nice time to put some money in. But again, make sure that you are aware that maybe something could happen in the upcoming period. The economy is starting to open up right now. Everything is too optimistic, right? Especially with Bitcoin as well, with all the stocks as well, with all the hype that is going on right now. So there will come a time that this is gonna blow. But of course, let's just monitor and let's be mindful of that. And of course, this is how we are gonna wrap it up. I really hope you enjoyed this one. It was a little bit too long, but I hope you're staying up until now. If you do, thank you so much. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit the like button and the subscribe, of course, and turn on the notification bell because I have amazing things coming up for you. All right, so take care and talk to you on my next video.